Welcome on. It's Monday night, it's Monday Malarkey, and what's that? Chase the pace looks quite good. The Kirin tournament that's going to be on indievelo coming on your way soon. Now, that involves the pace of this new invention from indievelo, and we shall see that in action for the second week running. We have another world first for you tonight. Absolutely amazing. We have the world's first interactive poll on live video racing, online video racing, should I say. So, get your phones ready, because there's a little scan and a number that you will be able to read off the screen, and you can have little interactive polls along the way. It's fun. Now, before we get going too much, let's have a quick look at the settings on the screen. We're having a few problems with the internet out there. Certainly seems alright at my end today. There's the route for today. It's just a two-layer route. It goes along the coast, up into the hills and around the lakes, and that's still climbing. You can see the bumps, the race, a few bumps where you go up to one of the lakes, and a few bumps where you go up a lot, drop to the basin of the lake, and back out against the city. 20 kilometres, not too much fun, 144 metres, but it can be taken on those climbs. So we'll look out there. Have a look at the series standings, if we can. We'll look at that. Tim Hampton, who I believe is on the start line, is doing rather well and should be able to finish off the series. So we're looking at who can finish on the podium. Probably not frequently. And he is probably outreached, assuming they all do the run. Gordon Jackson also in contention there. Yep, Snave is probably just out and running. More than it's like the series that it's a phenomenal run, taking him up to 7th. Lee Louis, the ladies' champion, will be in 8th place. Best of 6, Tim Hampton and Morton Bank. Everybody close points in that. Morton can beat Tim in these last two races. He could take best of 6. So, not a long distance run, but we rely on beating both of those riders to take best of 6. Lee Lewis leads the lead. Right, let's go to stopping him. I've already started. Just coming out of the pen. Now, these are being paced for the first kilometre. The pace just in front of them. If we go past the pacer, it will slam the brakes on, and it will fall back. And look what happens. Bang! Back they go. It's not who it was. You can do that. You see, somebody else has just done it. It snaps your brakes on. You need to cope with that. It's quite interesting watching it. You see that there. Just misjudging. It needs to sort of ease up as they catch the pacer. Now, this is set at 1 kilometre. We did it at 3 kilometres last week. We're on 1. But it's set. It starts at 30 but ends at 50. And you can see now that we've sort of got, I don't know how we are into it, but we have done the best part of the first kilometre, and the pace now is way ahead of them. So they're not actually, the pacer has increased its speed, but they're not keeping up with it. In 45 kph, so I suspect the pace is probably 50 now, and they're not getting the problem of braking. So in a true race, it has to have that sort of kind of match start. And I think it's some cope with the standard. I think before. Sorry, Damon. Okay, I think I need to refresh. Hold on. Well, hopefully, back halfway through the race now. Looking at a. Yeah, just getting the message that I've been heard loud and clear. Internet problems there. Okay, so we've got a bunch of not only off the front. That's Dan Simpson from the Electric Spirit team. Sorry, R3R, I beg your pardon. Not with an R3R kit on. Not quite sure what happened there, but I'm sure Dan knows why. Rob Miller, also from R3R, just behind here. Morton Van, Tim Humpton. I just expect to get the Galaxy Gold up there. To Evan Oysterson, Oleg Kochakov, and John van der Linden pressed up, and John Samet back. He's on a bit of a roll at the moment, isn't he, John? He's certainly doing well in races. That's interesting. The kits not looking as I'd expect them. Maybe I'm wrong. R3R kits. That looks normal. See the Saddle Drunk kit on Alex Golden. We have been I suspect give team kits, which is something we need to look at. Their chosen kit. The white is usually the Electric Spirit team, so they're white out there, and I should imagine the greens are allocated at the start line. That's Oleg Kochakov there, and Morton Vaughn at the front. Morton doesn't usually wear green, so assuming these are allocated. Gold is the one in the sort of Evan Oysterson from Norway, in Jordan from making up this little party at front. 9.6 kilometres gone. As I say, I had internet problems, and I can see from the arrows that they're well and truly past first lake and on their way back to the second lake before coming back. Going along the flat seafront at the moment. 9.4 kilometres to go. Now, I don't know quite what happened while I was absent, but the poll now this is the first time this has ever happened. Get your phone out, SAT, so that will take you into VVOX, and see the little code on there, 157-288-505. Type that in and you'll get into the poll. So go to VVOX, scan the barcode on your phone and type in that number, 157-288-505. I'm going to say it one more time, 157-288-505, and they're even putting it on screen for you again. So, scan and vote. Now, the question in a minute, this is the very first time on, should we say, live e-racing, or VR racing, whatever you want to call it, but live cycling online for online racing. This is a world first. You saw it first on indievelo with ZMS providing the features, and Sunday VR broadcasting with their Monday Malarkey series. So here's your first question. What's your favourite form of indievelo? Now, scratch races, that's basically where you all enter as individuals. Team Scratch, slightly confusingly, I primarily my races, these ones are scratch races, but I have to set them up as team scratches as well, so they kind of up. So Team Scratch, you will get allocated into teams if you're not a member of a team, so that everybody you can enter on your own, but you'll be put in a team with somebody else. Elimination races, obviously you go around and every so many laps, the last few people across the line are eliminated until you've got the last few and you have a race. The Kirin, which as you probably know is about let's say 3 laps around the velodrome, behind a pacer, and in the last lap you'll tear off and race like mad. That's coming up, Chase the Pace series run by OCR and the Chase the Yellow people, ZMS. That's coming up soon on indievelo, and rather like the pacer we had on the beginning, it will be time. I will have another look at pace. I did notice it went off quite a way early, and maybe I can slow that down a little bit. Then we've got the time trials. We all know what a time trial is, and we go for intervals, and there's no draft, obviously. And the race, which is quite, I see, 11.11% of the votes. Points race, essentially, every so often there will be a lap where the first 5 riders or so, or whatever the organisers designated, will get points, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, as they go back through the start line in our race and towards the Southern Lake. Now, points races, as I say, every 10 laps, there'll be kind of sprint. The first few riders will pick up points, and over the course of the race, you'll accumulate points. So those are the choices. Team Scratch at 41.67%. As I say, that's how I set these up. However, I will say that they, I don't primarily treat these. It's primarily a scratch race with the team classification, which hasn't been because we're trying to perfect it. I've still got one or two little things I'm not 100% certain about, so we didn't actually end up bringing it in the system. So if you want to vote the poll, and you can see that Team Scratch is by far away so far. Scan your phone onto that barcode and then type in 157288505 and pick which one you want to poll in. The world's first. If you voted in this, you have broken new ground. Amazing stuff, eh? Absolutely amazing. Out to the front in that saddle front kit now, as this little group pull away. Not quite sure what distance they've got back to everybody else. I think there's probably about 20 riders on the course. As I say, I've unfortunately been taken away due to internet technical problems, but back now for these last kilometres. 6.5 kilometres to go, riding at 38 kph on the flat. But remember, we are about to go inland and loop up to that lake. So you can see when you see them go inland, the gradient will go up because they need to go up to the lip of the lake, and that's coming up very, very shortly. So far, in sort of, I don't know, slightly see-through grey on the bottom of your screen, you see the arrow pointing downwards. That's where the riders are. Alex pulling away quite a lot now. I think Alex is probably got a bit of space on the 200 and try and away from the others. Let's see how that one pans out. Quite a gap back to the other side. He's got seven Sexton and Tim Humpton from RER and Electric Spirit, respectively. Rob Miller from R3R, Evan Oystenson, Greg Kochikov, and Jan van der Linden, all in there. John Sander, of course, and Carl Axel Pedersen. All you could see winning a race like this. Alex Gold, though, has the advantage at the moment. Is this going to be enough? He's pulling away. He's there at 10 seconds, and that could be decisive. Now he's turning inland, I think. Now you've seen the gradient straight up to 6-8%. Bites quite hard. It's not long, but it's enough to make a difference. We'll go for it now. You can see the distance between Alex and the guys pushing up ahead. They're catching him by the looks of it. They're down to 4 seconds. They're catching him quite fast, so he did well to get ahead of them and try and get that advantage. But I think he's going to be caught by this trio. John Sammer, Tim Humpton, and Morten Vering. They go sliding past Alex there, but it's quite near the top, so Alex has got a decent chance of getting back on that group if he can. A group of 4 now. I can't quite see the screen because the poll's in the way. Don't forget to vote if it's still on your screen. You can see how this is out, but it's still a group of 4 in contention. Now they've got one more climb after this to get out of the lake zone, and that might be where it becomes decisive. But 3 just behind this first group is split into two twos, and there is a group of 3 behind them that could actually make that up and get it back to a group of 7. Now remember, we were in a group of 9 just before that hill, so it has broken that into sort of 3 segments, if you like. These first 4, although again the second 3, gaps not all that big though, aren't they? 2 seconds back to Alex Gold from that front quartet, and Rob and Dan Stimson from R3R, probably the biggest slew as well, Evan Oystenson as well. So 3 off the back there, probably not going to make that up. 20 seconds, Rob Miller, slightly losing out. Good points all for Rob though, and the R3R team will pick up a decent haul of points, I think, between him and Dan. I'm just trying to see if there's any R3R riders other than that. I think that's the top 2 R3R riders. This hasn't merged into one group as I thought it might. It's still split into 2, isn't it? And we're looking at 6 people really. It's, they're coming together now. If they come together as 6, we're not about to hit that second hump. So let's see what happens there. It's not quite together, is it? I mean, Morten Vong's putting a little bit of pressure on the front, and he probably again, like Tim Humpton, as Alex did in the last climb, probably just trying to get an advantage. Now, Alex was caught on the climb, so it probably doesn't bode that well for the second one. But I don't think it's as steep. So I think sit in there, he's still with a chance. It's not a massive distance to the finishing line. It's the 6 come together. So everybody in contention now. As Oleg Kochikov goes out solo, but I think that might have just been he had momentum because he was catching up. Tim Humpson getting on hill. Tim, a very strong finisher, and if Tim is let go, he will probably win. So they need to watch that wheel. 3 riders in green, as I say. I think he's relegated at the start line. Alex Gold coming up for Saddle Drum, and Morten Vung as well in there. It's cat and mouse a bit at the moment, but they're just about to hit this gradient. It's 1% here as they go away from the lake, over the lip, out of the lake basin, over the lip, and then back down to the seafront for the sprint home. 3.1 kilometres to go. Gradient slightly raised up to 2% there. It's, as I say, not as steep as the other one, but it's a climb all the same. And I think the pressure on the front, Alex Gold again, though. Tim Humpton just behind him. There's a 3-second gap between Alex and Tim. Tim now with everybody else. Alex again trying to get his advantage early on the slope. Definitely on the slope at 2. You can see how the road is now higher than the lake. Still only 1% though. Alex making a good move here, and if the others don't respond, he could get over the top unchallenged, and he's not that far from the top. It's a 4 or 5% there. This is where they might catch him. This is what happened on the last one, 6%, but it's not far to the top. Can Alex make it? 2.9 kilometres to go. He's getting caught by Tim Humpton, who we know is strong. Tim likes him, but can Alex just stay on Tim's wheel over the 2 get away? Maybe not. Martin Vaughn coming up behind. Axel Pedersen now. They're up, and it looks like as they reach the top of the climb, there's probably 4 and maybe 5 in contention. Right, Alex Gold slightly behind the others, but I think he can get back on the wheel. So that will it be 3? Will it be 4? Will it be 5? Pulling away a little bit on this descent, -3. Alex not really making up the ground, but he's not out of contention. Remember, there's a flat bit at the bottom where a good flat rider can catch up. Alex is catching up now, so that brings it into 4 in contention, and it's a case of whether or not John van der Linden can catch these 4. It's not impossible. It's not a great distance, and I think he might be just making up some of that distance. It looks like he's going to get back on, doesn't it? It's for a 5-man sprint at the end of this race. Yes, he's back on. So it's a 5-man sprint. He goes straight through the front, doesn't he? John van der Linden. I think that was momentum. So they're back on the beach. It's flat, and it's 1.5 kilometres to the finish. Jan van der Linden did that catch on the descent. He's got a couple of metres on the others. I think that will soon close down, and it will go into a 5 bunch sprint. Expect Tim Humpton to pull away. He likes a good solid sprint and can do it from distance. Alex Gold's currently at the front. Everybody else taking the draft, biding their time. I would expect Tim Humpton to sort of go at some point that he's probably preconceived and worked out already, but we don't know yet. We don't know how much is in the legs. 5 of them now. It's still tight together. Oleg Kochov, John van der Linden, Tim Humpton, Morten Vang, Carl Axel Pedersen, and Alex Gold, of course. Sorry, Oleg Kochov is not in there. I misread that one. That's so just 5 of them. Alex Gold on the front now. You don't really want to be at the front of this stage. 800 metres to go. This is sort of area where Tim Humpton might go, but it's not Tim, it's Morten Vang. Now he has won solidly. Tim has to respond. Tim knows that he's the danger. You can see Tim in the white there. Pulling up, he's sitting on the wheel. He's not necessarily chasing Morten down. It suggests that Tim may not have much left in the tank as he sometimes does, or maybe he's just working out when to do it. He's let it's Carl Pedersen with the front. I do beg your pardon. And Morten Vang is now on the front with Carl Axel Pedersen dropping back to the 2 riders in green. So Morten Vang is now on the front. So I correct it this time. Carl Axel Pedersen now is chasing him down. The 2 riders in green. Alex Gold leading Tim Humpton. I'm surprised Tim Humpton hasn't gone yet. It's Carl Axel Pedersen off the front. Alex Gold just nudging in front of Morten Vang. Here comes Tim Humpton with that strong, powerful sprint. Can Alex hold him off? Not quite. It looks Tim Humpton just takes it. Brilliant second from Alex Gold. Morten Blom taking third. Carl Axel Pedersen in fourth. John van der Linden having to settle for fifth after that classic catch-up on the descent. Well done, Tim Humpton. I expected him to go much earlier than that, but he timed it to absolute perfection. Oleg Kochelov coming now into the finishing area, 140 metres. You can see the finish there. Electric Spirit getting the win, but Saddle Trump, fantastic result for Alex. Well done, mate. I'm very pleased for you. This is Oleg coming in. Evan Oysensen will be next, Norwegian R3R rider, which when I was reading out the R3 riders, I did meet him earlier, so I beg your pardon, R3R. Really sorry about that. He is, in fact, going to be the first of the R3R riders home, leading home Rob Miller and Dan Stimson. And Matthew Forshaw after that. There are three riders coming together. This is Matthew Forshaw. He's being chased down by Top Jimmy. Top Jimmy just getting alongside him now. This is going to be a proper tussle, isn't it? Matthew Forshaw just holding him off by a wheel. A great sprint in the penalty. Bad luck, Jimmy. As I always say. And Rasmus Feldball now coming in ahead of Tony Martin Lake, Peter Austin, Gordon Jackson, David Jones, Clive Byham, Brett Smith, Ian Craig, Andy Evans, and that's it. And Bates will be the boss, of course. Rasmus Feldball coming in the gain, in just now at, I'm looking for the time on here. So 38 kph he finishes. Oh, we've got another sprint on here. Look, Tony Martin Lake and Peter Austin. Looks like Tony Martin's probably got a bit in the legs than Peter. I don't know. It just hitching a bit closer there. He has probably wasn't ready for that and has just adjusted, sitting on the wheel, just getting that about right. Can Peter keep up? I've known Peter for a few years online and finally met him about 3 weeks ago for the very first time face to face. And Peter's going now. And can Tony Martin Lake respond? He does. Tony Martin Lake can respond, but is it enough? Peter Austin has got a bit of a jump on him, but I don't know that it's getting longer. If Peter's gone too soon, well, I don't think he has. I think he's eaten out a couple of extra metres, and Tony's not going to make it up now. A great sprint in the few cat and mouse, absolutely fantastic. It's a pleasure to watch. That's why we do it all, isn't it? David Jones coming in now. I don't know David personally. Only David Jones I actually ever knew was the Monkeys, if you're to remember them. And also knew him, I actually did know him. But there we go. Gordon Jackson from OTR is behind. Can Gordon catch him up? He wants to do Gordon do a catch up. You know, that's not impossible. I think he's closing the gap at the start line to the finishing line. He's closing it. I think Gordon's going to get this. I think Gordon's just got enough in the tank. He's going to go by, isn't it? Look at that. Great stuff, Gordon. Well done. Unlucky, David. I'm not sure if you realise. Oh, David just gone in. I don't know if David realised that Gordon was coming up there. I think he got caught a bit cold, and by the time he responded, he was a bit too late. Clive Byham coming in next for OTR. In green jerseys today. I'm not so sure I'm happy about that. We shall find out why. I think that's something to do with the team. And I think everybody should have the jersey they choose. And this is one of the problems having it set up as a team race when it's really kind of individual race for them. OTR. Anyway, it's got the right colours on. They're green, white, and black, and you could argue they're OTR colours, couldn't you, Clive? How's the poll going, Damon? What's it looking like? I've got the results at the side, by the way, in case you didn't pick them up on bottom left. I don't know how the poll results are looking. We were on 42% for some scratch races earlier on when we were looking. The world's premier online cycle racing in polling. It's the best you can get. We have all the new features from indievelo. We have the pacer leading. We have the inline. We have the race stream. We have the live stream. Everything you could possibly want. When new things come out, they get incorporated. We add them in. That's fantastic. Shame of course, that my internet. I say my internet. I'm not sure whether it's my internet or not. Who took the win today? It was Tim Humpton. Absolutely correct. I think that's the Alex Gold got second, didn't he? He was fourth choice with Alec Goldchov coming in sixth as well. No. So that's how people voted. And I think that was probably earlier, wasn't it? Maybe I missed that poll earlier on. Anyway, we watched Clive Byham coming round to the finishing line for OTR, and he's ahead of Brett Smith. I haven't seen Brett for a couple of weeks. I don't know if he wasn't out riding at the weekend, so I don't know if he's been away and off the bike. I shall ask him at some point, but here's Brett now with 700 metres to go on his own. As I say, he wasn't out Sunday, so he may well have been away and slightly stiff legs from a nice holiday somewhere. Who knows? He actually does have to travel for business, so it's probably more likely to be that. So there's Brett, 500 metres to go. You can't see the finishing line, can you? I mean, I often wonder if these riders actually test the course to see, to work out what's going on, or they just kind of look at the figures on the screen. I mean, you always look and know it's 400 metres away, even though you can't see it. But I do like having something to aim for when visually. I don't know if that's a bit old-fashioned or not, but probably is actually, isn't it? Because once upon a time, real-life riders would probably have not had too much information apart from in the top races, I guess. So under 200 metres, and finally we get the finishing line in sight as he hits 100 metres to the line. So that's Brett finishing. Ian Craig is next. He's ahead of Andy Evans, one of Top Jimmy's workmates. Again, green jersey as well. So I'm going to query how that works. But anyway, Ian Craig coming in next. He's got a 1.2k to go. Andy Evans seems quite a long way behind, and I'm not quite sure whether something's gone wrong for Andy, because I wouldn't expect Andy to be that far off the pace. So I'm kind of guessing that something went on there. As we watch Ian come round into the last, there's the Flamme Rouge. It's they do look like something. I don't quite know what they're sort of representing, but they're like it's some sort of like red gas being released, isn't it? So, flares, I suppose they are, aren't they? They're like flares. And the only time I ever see flares is at football matches, which kind of spoils the match. I'm sure the people who throw them think it's great fun, but beyond me what pleasure they get out of that. But anyway, there we are. They have fun. Everybody else's expense. I suppose it depends on your view on it as to whether you agree or not. So Ian Craig now has been through the flares, and I don't suppose when he crosses the finishing line they're going to have them thrown on the pitch as they do in football matches when the team scores, but nevertheless it'll be a great moment for him, I'm sure, when he crosses the line. 600 metres to go. It's always not. I always kind of get that sense of achievement when I cross the line in online riding, even if I'm riding on my own. Here we have Andy Evans. As I say, I think Andy must have had something go wrong, because he doesn't usually get caught behind like that. He's certainly inside the last kilometre, so not long before we finish the race, and then we're all done for another week. So Tim Humpton with that win almost just needs to turn up next week to win the series in the last race. We look forward to that, and everything will be decided. So Lee Louie isn't here today. She had a big race, or she has a big race tomorrow, she tells me. So that's one less rider. Let's say everything will be tied up next week. The real thing I think there is that Tim Humpton eked out those extra little points in the best of six, and I think Tim might be on course for all of those. The first three riders in GC will get trophies. Only the winner of the best of six and the ladies' top three will get trophies. So 7 trophies being distributed. We didn't do a team's classification for this series. There's still some issues with it. It's not quite perfect. So I think we'll have to pass on that one for this series, I'm afraid. We do issue the team results on a weekly basis, and in fact, if you race in the race, they will be downloadable. There was an issue, I think, last week with the download. Hopefully that's resolved itself. You can actually read the results, but it didn't come out in the usual format, shall we say. So here's Andy rolling in just to finish off this week's race. Well done, Andy. Great kit, of course, West London. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back for the last one next week. So here's the results. Tim Humpton, as we know, he's ahead of Alex Gold, my friend from Saddle Drunk. Morten Vang, the Callis ESRT rider, beating fellow Scandinavian Carl Axel Xander Patterson, Norway over. Jan van der Linden from the Netherlands beating Oleg Kochetkov. Oh, sorry, I misread that earlier. He finished sixth, German. Evan Oystensen, another Norwegian, at seventh. Rob Miller from R3R, second of three R3R riders after Evan, beating Dan Simpson. Then Matt Forshaw taking a top 10 position, denying Brett. But Brett Smith and Matthew Forshaw, that was probably the second best sprint of the day. Tim Humpton, I think, clearly won best sprint of the day. But Matthew and Brett, thank you very much for making 10th place, an absolute thriller too. Matthew from Electric Spirit as well. So taking first and 10th, rounding that through. When you see things like KOM Kangaroos, these are allocated teams, and I think the green jerseys, everybody was putting KOM Kangaroos for some reason. So anyway, we'll see if we can sort that out for next week. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks, Damon, for the production. Look out for Chase the Pace. That's the Kerin format series that is going to be on indievelo, and that involves the pacer at the start, as I explained. Thanks very much for voting in the very first interactive poll on online cycle racing. It's the world's first. You say, you tell your grandchildren you were there that day and you voted. At 47% for the Team Scratch. Interesting. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.